All right, so it is officially 6 o'clock, so I'm going to kick us off here. Just want to introduce myself. My name is Giselle Oberly. I am the program manager for the MS Accountancy program. In a few minutes, I'll jump back on here and I will talk to you about the application process. But first, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Smith, who is the director of the graduate business programs. All of our graduate business programs, as well as the MS Accountancy program. Before I turn it over to him, I just wanted to let you know that you are being recorded. So this session is currently being recorded. So we recommend that you turn off your camera if you don't need to have it on during the beginning portion of the information session, and then you can turn it on at the end if you have any questions. There's going to be a question and answer portion at the end of the presentation. So we prefer that you save most of your questions for then, but if you do have a burning question before then, feel free to, turn on your camera and turn on your mic and ask us. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Smith.
Welcome to the MS in Accountancy info session. I hope to be able to welcome you to the MS in Accountancy program here shortly. First slide, I'm going to talk a little bit about program recognition. Of the business colleges in the world, there's about 17,000 of those. There are a small percentage of those that are AACSB accredited. So that's on the first line there. And that's an important designation. It means that we've met certain standards that the best schools in the United States, the best schools in the world have also met. So in that regard, we are right up with the top ranks, and we've been recognized as such by a number of these, not sure what the best term is, number of these sources for information, like the Princeton Review, Money, Best Colleges, et cetera. Okay. So if you're looking for a MS in Accountancy program, you should look for that in any case, whether you pick ours or pick somebody else's. I would hate to see you pick somebody else's, but. Okay, so we've been around, gosh, 7 or 8 years now. And our program was specifically designed to meet the 150-hour requirement that the state of California has placed on students that want to be a certified public accountant. So this is the extra 30 hours since the undergraduate degrees in the state of California are 120 credit hours for semester schools. And this would provide the 30 additional hours. It's not the only way to get that, but it is a very convenient way to get it. We also have a number of people come into our program that want to go into other types of accounting than public accounting. So work in industry. We certainly encourage that, but you should know that our program is really designed at public accounting and the CPA credential. Okay, so why would you want to be a CPA and why would you want to get a master's degree? For many people, it's a matter of long-term career earnings. The Institute of Management Accountants, an organization of management accountants, so accountants in industry, does an annual survey of accounting salaries, and they found that on average, accountants with advanced degrees, MBA, MS in Accountancy, PhD, any advanced degree, got $16,000 more than their peers per year. Additionally, they asked about CPA and certified management accounting certified management accounting certifications. And they found that accountants with either of those certifications got almost $16,000 more per year in many cases. So if you add them up, accountants with advanced degrees and a certification could be making up to $32,000 more per year than their peers without a certification or without an advanced degree. Overall, the CPA salaries, and this is old now, about 4 years old, but so you can just add a little bit to that. But in general, in the US, CPA salaries range from about $66,000 for first-year CPAs to $150,000 on average for experienced CPAs. And if you get in with the right organization, you can certainly expect higher salaries than that. Robert Half is the Human Resources Agency, and they keep publishing information on which accounting jobs are hot. Hasn't changed much in the last 5 years. CPAs are in demand. CGMA, that stands for Chartered Global Management Accountants. Those are accountants in industry again. CMA is a similar certification from the Institute of Management Accountants. CGMA is from the American Institute of CPAs, and the Chartered Global Accountants in Great Britain came together and created the CGMA certification. CIA stands for not spies, but Certified Internal Auditors. And CISA stands for Certified Information Systems Auditors. And Certified Information Systems Auditors are in high demand. They make a lot of money. Okay, so you get other benefits from spending another year in school. You get better at tests, you learn more. So on average, CPA candidates with graduate degrees pass the CPA exam at a higher rate than candidates with just a bachelor's degree. This chart is a little misleading. The blue should not be twice as tall as the orange because the difference is approximately 10%, but that's a meaningful difference. Okay, let's get talking about our program. At this point, applications are open for coming in the spring semester, so I'll start at the bottom. If you're admitted to the spring semester, you would take 3 classes in spring, or for 12 credit units. You would take 2 classes, a 4-unit class and a 2-unit class in the first summer semester. So between the end of May and July 4th, you'd get 6 weeks off, and then you would take 3 more classes in the fall semester, and you would have your 30 hours for your MS in Accountancy degree. You'd come in January, late January, and you'd be graduating by mid-December, so less than 12 months. If you're coming in the fall semester, like the group that just came in, they take 3 courses this semester, 3 courses in the spring, and the 4-unit and 2-unit courses in the first summer semester, and they graduate at that point. So they come in at the end of August and they graduate by July 4th. So they get out a little bit faster, but in both cases, it's under a year. So certainly our program is completely designed for people that work. All of our classes are scheduled in the evenings and on Saturdays. Talk about that a little bit on Saturday. It's typically our tax courses. We have a partner in a local CPA firm that is a tax expert, teaches one of the tax courses, and the other tax course is taught by a senior manager from the IRS. So because of their day jobs, they prefer teaching on Saturday. So we schedule the tax courses on Saturday, typically Saturday morning. The other courses in the program are during the week on evenings. They go from 6 to 9:30. Either, I know from experience in the spring, I taught Wednesday and Thursday night, and the sections I taught about an average of 30 students, and we had 60 some in the program. So 30 got me Wednesday night, 30 got me Thursday night, and on the other night, they did the auditing course. Okay. So commuting distance from LA and Orange County hasn't made much difference here the last year, but we're starting to return to in-person classes. And for those of you that are familiar with Cal State Long Beach, you know that it's easy to get to. Maybe not so easy at between 5 and 6, but it is pretty easy to get to. Additionally, all of our applications are submitted online, and you would submit all your documents electronically if possible. And so you don't have to be mailing stuff. We work very hard to make everything convenient to get into the program and to complete the program. Couple of options. We have the standard master's application, and Giselle is going to talk about Cal State Apply here shortly. For students coming in that already hold a bachelor's degree, notice I said bachelor's degree, I didn't say a degree in accountancy, because you don't have to have an undergraduate degree in accountancy to join our program. You just have to have the 4 prerequisite classes, intermediate 1 and 2, as well as auditing and tax. That assumes, of course, you've had the lower division introduction to financial and introduction to managerial accounting classes. We have a number of people that come in without degrees, undergraduate degrees in accounting. And we also have a fast track program for our Cal State accountancy undergraduates, where during the program as an undergraduate, they can apply to the fast track program and they get an expedited application process, and they can actually get some ease with which they can pick classes and get into maybe hard to get into classes. So we make it easier for them to transition from an undergraduate to a graduate student.
All right, thank you, Dr. Smith. So now I'm going to jump in here and talk to you all about the application process. Before I do that, I do want to say that anyone that attends this session is going to receive the recording of the session, and you will also receive a copy of the PowerPoint with clickable links. So don't worry about writing any of this down in terms of what you see on your screen. We are going to provide you with a copy of this PowerPoint, and you'll be able to click the links to get your application started. Hopefully, as soon as we finish today, you'll be that excited and you'll want to start your application. We'll see. But okay, so jumping into the application process, first I just want to highlight some of the general application requirements before I jump in and talk about all of them in more detail. So as Dr. Smith said, you do need a bachelor's degree. It doesn't have to be in accounting, but you do need a bachelor's degree in order to apply for this program. The GMAT and GRE tests are being waived for the spring application cycle, and we've yet to determine if that will be the case for the fall. But as of the spring 22 application cycle, the test is being waived. You are going to have to submit a copy of your resume, so just an updated resume, a video statement of purpose, which I'll go into more detail about, a short response written statement. Again, I'll talk more in detail about that, and 2 letters of recommendation. So I'll let you know the process for that. So our application is all online, as Dr. Smith explained, and it's through the Cal State Apply website. So for spring, applications are now open. They opened up August 1st. The deadline for international students to apply was October 1st, and the deadline for domestic students to apply will be November 1st. The application period for fall opens up on October 1st, so keep that in mind. And you do have that's a lot longer period to apply, and those deadlines will be next year. For international students, March 1st. For domestic students, that's going to be June 1st. So the application has 4 different sections, 4 different quadrants. So I'm going to talk to you about those 4 sections that you have to complete. Some of them are pretty easy in terms of you're able to skip a lot of them. and other quadrants are more important, and it's very important that you submit everything that it's requested in that quadrant. So it's good to attend this session so you know what you can skip through and what you need to really focus on. The only thing that you don't do online when you submit your application is submit transcripts. So we do ask that you wait until you submit your application to mail your transcripts to us. So you can either mail them to our enrollment services office, or you can, if the institution that you attended offers electronic transcript services, you can also email them, request that that institution email them to us. But either way, you should wait until you've submitted your online application before worrying about transcripts. Once that's submitted, then you can consider how you're going to send them, either through mail or electronically. The other thing that is not handled directly in the application is test scores. So right now we're not requiring GMAT GRE. In the future we may, and you'd have to submit official test scores from the test administrator to Cal State Long Beach. If you're an international student, there is an English language test requirement, and you would have to submit those test scores from the test administrator directly to Long Beach. So those two things are the only things that are not within the application. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you click on Cal State Apply. This is generally what the website looks like. You'll select your term. You'll select that you're a graduate student. Once you log in, these are the 4 different sections that we talked about, and we're going to jump in and talk about the first 2. The first one is the personal information section. So this section is pretty straightforward. The only thing I like to mention here is that you should make sure that the email address that you enter in under contact information is something that you check frequently. If something is missing, if we need to get a hold of you for whatever reason to ensure your application is complete, that's the email that we're going to be using. We'll also be emailing you there if you get admitted, right? So you want to make sure that you check that pretty frequently. The next section is the academic history section. So you're going to list the colleges that you've attended, GPA entries, best guess is okay. Don't worry about doing any in-depth calculations, because that's going to be done by our enrollment services office once we receive your transcript. So enter your best guess there. Don't worry too much. Standardized tests, this is also where you would include that. Within the colleges attended, there's also a section where you can put any courses that you're currently taking or plan to take if you have not yet completed your undergraduate degree. You've completed your undergraduate degree, don't worry at all about that. If you have maybe a couple courses left before you can finish your degree, but it'll be done before you start this program, you would just enter that in this section, in the academic history section. So the third section is the supporting information section. This section you can skip altogether. Don't worry about this section at all. You don't have to enter in anything under experiences. The fourth section, this is really the most important part of your application, and it's what the department really looks at to verify or to gauge your admissibility to the program. So once you click on that, this is what it looks like. There's a few different tabs that you would look through. The first tab is the questions tab. And under here is where you're going to provide the information for the written statement of purpose that I'm going to talk to you more about, as well as the video statement of purpose. It's also going to ask you some questions about those prerequisites that Dr. Smith mentioned early on in the information session. The next tab here is the documents tab. In the documents tab, you're going to upload your resume. So you'll upload your resume there. And then the final tab is the recommendations tab. So in that tab is where you're going to put the name and the email of your 2 recommenders. And I'll talk to you more about, all of this, all these different requirements in more detail. But this is basically what that 4th section looks like, and the tabs where you'll be entering in all this important information. So the letter of recommendation, We require a minimum of 2. You can submit up to 3. Sometimes students will provide the name and email for that third recommender in case one of the other 2 don't reply or don't upload their letter of recommendation. Students often ask us what their recommenders should include in their letter of recommendation. And so we just give a few tips. They should include a short summary of their history with you. So how they know you basically, if that's from the classroom, from an organization that they've worked with you at. They should also include some of the characteristics they believe will enable you to do well in a graduate program. And maybe some of the specific contributions, what you've brought to the table when they've worked with you. And finally, they should have a strong closing statement endorsing your candidacy for the program. So that's what we recommend is included in the letter of recommendation. And sometimes students ask what they can tell their recommenders. So this is what we ask that you pass along to your recommenders as to what should be included. The video statement of purpose is basically our way of, getting to know our students a little bit better. In place of an interview, we ask that you send us a 3 to 5 minute video. You can use any video servicing platform, but most students use YouTube. Be sure that if you do use YouTube, that you make the video public so that we're able to view it. And so you can see the prompt on your screen. Basically, we're asking you to talk to us a little bit about your career goals within that video. And so my main recommendation here is that you do not read, an already prepared statement. Instead, maybe put some bullet points together and talk from that. So we can get to see your communication style and your personality a little bit through the video. Okay, so the next section that we're going to talk about is a short answer written personal statement. So basically, this is kind of like an essay question. It's just a couple of paragraphs where you describe, a time when you had to deal with someone who was difficult and how you handled the situation. So this gives us an idea of your writing skills. Okay, so now we're wrapping up the application section and we're going to go into our frequently asked questions before we open it up to any questions that you might have. So one question that we get a lot is whether or not the MSA program can be completed part-time. So typically most students do complete the program full-time. It's designed to be a full-time program. Classes are scheduled, however, in the evenings or on weekends. So if you work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, you can still complete the program. And we have a lot of students that do complete the program while working full-time. Hopefully you have a little bit of a flexible employer because obviously you're going to be very busy if you do it while working full-time. Another question we get a lot is regarding the cost of the program. So for California residents, the cost is about $18,000. And for a non-California resident or international student, it would be the same cost, and that's about $30,000. Finally, students ask if we provide CPA test prep. So we do provide a CPA test prep that's integrated into your program. And it's actually built into some of your curriculum as well. So the instructors will use it for some of the courses to help teach certain concepts. And you're able to use that CPA test prep for a couple of years after graduating. I believe you can use it until you pass the exam. Is that correct, Rod? Yes.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. So that's, just another perk of the program. It's included with the program at no additional cost. So that concludes our presentation. We have our contact information on the screen. Currently, we are working from home and email is going to be the best method of communication. So any questions, feel free to email me at msa@csulb.edu. If you think of something, after we've finished up here, you can shoot us an email there. I see that we do have a question in the chat box. So let me open that up. So this question, Dr. Smith, is about the acceptance rate for the program.
Okay.
Our acceptance rate.
Out of all the applications, we probably take 50 to 60%, but if you're qualified and you have the prerequisite courses, then your likelihood of being accepted the program is at least 90%, if not higher. So our goal is to have students in the program and help them get on with their careers. So.
Next question, is the application process the same for the fast track programs? It is not. So the application process that I just went through was the traditional application process. If you are a CSULB accountancy undergrad and you applied through the fast track before graduating, then you get to waive some of those things that I was talking about if you're admitted through the fast track. You don't have to submit letters of recommendation. You don't have to do the video statement of purpose, a short response question. You don't have to answer that. So it is an expedited application process for those students that meet a certain GPA threshold of 3.0 or above and apply through the fast track before graduating.
Yeah, there's a simple fast track application. And once you're in that program, then the application process becomes really very easy. I mean, we'll have your transcripts. It makes it very simple.
And if you want more information about that, or if you want a link to apply, feel free to shoot me an email at msa@csulb.edu and I'll get that to you. And like Dr. Smith said, it takes, just a few minutes to fill in that initial application. So if there are any other questions, feel free to type them into the chat box, or you can also unmute yourself and ask. I do see one more. Are we able to apply to the program even though we are still currently finishing up the prerequisites? Absolutely. So you can apply to the program while you're finishing up those courses. They're not required to be admitted. They are just required before you start the program. And we would track that and work with you to make sure you have those courses before you start the program. So how likely is it that courses will be offered in person spring 2020 and spring 2022 and fall of 2022?
The current plan is to return to in-person classes in spring 2022, and that's currently our marching orders. Certainly things can change, but at this point, about half of the classes are going to be in-person or hybrid, partially in person this semester, the fall semester. And the plan is that all of the classes would be in person in the spring semester. That doesn't mean we wouldn't still have some hybrid classes. We learned a lot over the last year and a half about doing some of the things online. So that it is a possibility that some of your course material will still be presented online, but at least a substantial portion of the class will be in person.
Other questions? Well, if you think of anything, you have our contact information. Again, you're going to receive this recording and the PowerPoint probably sometime tomorrow. Let's see, one more question came in. How likely are sorry, that's the same one. So yeah, I think if there are no more questions, then we will wrap it up here and you'll receive what I just talked about.
What did you do?
Oh, is there someone, someone has a question? No. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for everything. I think we'll wrap it up there. Thank you, Dr. Smith.
Thank you, Giselle. Again, if you think of anything, shoot a question to msa@csulb.edu. That's what we're here for, to answer your questions.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.